So the agenda for today is how do you do industry analysis on the retail industry, and second, the impact of COVID on the US e-commerce market, then the internet frauds, the problems affecting the internet frauds, then the types of frauds, how do you resolve using this frauds by using the latest technology, the future of online payments, business strategy, and the way forward. First, so if you look at the numbers, the online retail industry has grown to $4.25 trillion by the year 2020, and it is growing by the compounded annual growth rate of 9.4%. These are, if you look at the left hand side of the slide, these are some of the major players operating in the world right now: Amazon, eBay, Snapdeal. And some of the drivers of online retail industries are growing usage of smartphones, increased internet penetrations, availability of different products, convenience of shopping. And the business strategy adopted by these industries are B2B. For example, Alibaba uses business to business model. Normal other online retailers use B2C models. Promotion using influencer, using social media, digital marketing, increased distribution channel, etc. Second, I would like to focus on the COVID crisis, which has affected the US industry. So, if you look at the quarter 2 of 2020, the online sales has increased to 16.1 percentage compared to the previous quarter of the same year of the previous year. Then this is because of the lockdown and everybody is sitting home, nobody is allowed to go outside, so they tried everything to order online only. Then comes the, I created this business model canvas. It acts like a blueprint for the whole industry. So if you look at the key partners operating for these online retail industries are the cloud service providers, the investor who have invested in this in their startups, the suppliers, the vendors whom they are working. Then most of the cost structure, if you look at here, is most of them are OpEx operating. So they are either using AWS or Azure to drive their online applications, online analytics. And the capex is based on the inventory and their warehouses. Key activities: business intelligence, managing the customers, and the value proposition they are giving by different using different products, selling different products. The customer service, they're using AWS chatbots, AI for 24/7 customer service. The channels they are using are mostly mobile apps. Some of them are using websites, and their revenue streams are mainly the customers. But since they are all also operating in the B2B business, so some of the enterprises are also getting affected by them. Now, I have also done SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis basically tells you the position of your company. So, strengths and weaknesses are internal factors for a company, and opportunities and threat are the external factors. Some of the strengths of these companies are the easy accessibility, low prices compared to traditional retail stores. The product variety they offer is humongous. Weaknesses: some of the industry operate in a very industry specific product, like for example IKEA, Nikea. These operates only in furniture. So this is one of their weaknesses. The opportunity they are getting is like increased penetration of internet, especially in the remote areas, growing market, growing influencers. And the threats, which is our main topic for today, is cyber threats and their improved competitive landscape, low entry barriers for new entrants, and some of the data privacy issues. So these are the problems surrounding for internet frauds, which are affecting the online retail industries. Some of them are credit card frauds. Some of the types of these internet frauds are credit card frauds, phishing, fake accounts, triangulation frauds. I'll discuss them in detail. Now, credit card frauds are something fraudster steals your information related to your address, your PIN number, your credit card number, and then it uses this information so that you get affected financially, and your reputation also gets damaged if the data is get leaked. Now, some of the red flags which I have defined are so if a fraudster using the same card and the shipment is going at different addresses, then that can be a red flag. Then the time and frequency of these frauds, if it has increased, like the fraudster is buying more number of items in a less time, then that can also be counted as a red flag. Then different card but same billing address, that can also be a fraud, because that can also be counted as a red flag for a fraud, because the fraudster might have acquired many cards, and then based on that he is using those cards so that the fraud cannot be detected easily. Then the amount of purchase can also be considered, because if a card is stolen, then he might go for a luxurious items like iPhones and all. So that can be a red flag for me. Then comes the phishing attack. Phishing is basically two types. It can be done two types, either through an email, via an email, or through social engineering. So in email, usually the user gets a link, which is where the malware is attached to that link, and the software, when the user downloads that link or click on that link, the malware gets installed in the system and captures all the data, and then it either converts into a Trojan or into a ransomware. In social engineering, a fraudster calls the user, and the fraudster looks like a legitimate credit card company service member or someone like that, and then he takes all the information such as ATM pins and other your mobile number, your address, and all. The third one is the fake accounts and triangulation frauds. Fake accounts are nothing but the fraudster creates a fake account of the user after stealing all the information, and then he buys everything from the authentic website, and the charge and the credit card of the user, the legitimate user, gets charged. So then it affects both the merchant and the user, because user can file a refund complaint that he hasn't bought it and all. In triangulation fraud, the fraudster actually creates a websites of its own, similar to the authentic websites. What he does, he actually reduces the product prices and tempts the user to buy from that website. Now when the user buys from that website, all the payment information is gathered by the fraudster, and he orders from a different website or the authentic websites, and via the payment of cash on delivery. So user gets the order, but still the payment is pending. Then again user goes to the merchant that he has already paid. So this is one kind of very very popular fraud in the online retail industries. Then comes the methods. How do we save it? So this is a model which I have created using my past work experience. So if we use machine learning to train the model based on the historical data, so if you look at the upper part of the slide, the historical data is generated, and we can actually use Python or a machine learning models to train those models based on the past data. We can divide the data into training and testing sets, and once the model is created, once the accuracy is achieved, we can actually use real-time data such as web application, mobile application, which can be deployed in their ERP system, the company's ERP system, or financial databases, so that the model can in advance predict that this is the fraud based on the already set parameters and red flags and thresholds. So this is one method which we can use. Second is AWS Guard Duty. So if you don't want to create a model from scratch, you can actually go for AWS Guard Duty. Only you have to do is you can take the subscription from AWS, and you can deploy this SEIM tool. So it actually does all the details. It already has the details of the number of frauds happening, and the already set thresholds are already there. So you can deploy this model, and based on that, it not only inform you in advance about the fraud, but it also informs the network admin, so that extra network traffic can be blocked. Then how do you develop a responsibility model? So first and foremost, remove your financial database, or keep your financial database separate from your normal database. That will help to, even if the data is captured, financial data will be safe. Second is multi-factor authentication. Is a very popular method where the user has to authenticate the payment or the transaction in a multi-factor way, like OTP via phone, via email, via SMS. Then comes the customer awareness, where you as an online retailer aware the customer based on the ads, based on the training programs, that these are the kinds of frauds which you should be aware of. Second is that HTTPS is again a very secure protocol which can be deployed directly on the online website. So it blocks unauthorized websites from tracking their own authentic websites. Okay. Okay. Now, future of online payments. Now, online payments, as I already mentioned, has made the life easier, convenient. So there are various benefits of using online payments. You not only actually order something, you can also use also share your flight and train fare. You can buy different stuff. you can do insurance payments. Then advantages like financial inclusion has improved. People living in the remote part are not that digitally literate, so using online payment they have become digitally literate. Then the monitoring of transaction has been increased due to the tracking of transaction history. If you use Google Pay, you can actually go back and check what you have bought, how much money you have spent on that particular purchase. Then some of the card companies and online websites are also giving rewards and cashback to the customer who are using that particular company's card. So that is also an advantage of using online payment. The time of transfer has also reduced because you can immediately transfer the money using IMPS services. You can immediately make a purchase using IMPS services. So that is one of the advantages. Now, I would like to discuss a short about eBay fraud, which has happened in 2014. Around 145 million employees of eBay got affected by this. So they informed that your data has been leaked, but your financial data is still safe. So just be aware that. So this is the kind of fraud which happened. So they also use machine learning in that, which I have already mentioned in the previous slides. The business strategy, or I would say the technical business strategy which I would like to suggest is that authentic payment gateways can be used, and the customer awareness, as already mentioned, separating the financial database, two-factor authentication. You can leverage analytics, machine learning to detect the fraud, to track actual transaction, what is happening in real time. The last is since the online payment industry has grown fourfold in the last 10-15 years, so it has provided a boom for the online industry, the online payment system. And the payment collection invoice generation process has also improved immensely, but the cyber attacks is also improving. So we should aware our customer, we should aware our employees, so that less human errors will happen. You can use latest technology, latest patching models, so that the frauds, if detected, can be corrected early in advance. And you can use various methods such as know your customer. You can use tokenization is a method which is deployed here in India using the PAN services. It creates a virtual ID, so the actual credit card number is not captured, only the virtual ID is captured. So these all methods, if improved, if implemented successfully, would not only improve the customer experience, but would also help the companies to save their data, save them from any kind of financial and reputational frauds. So that's all from my side.